Ready for some irony? Comedy can save the world. Did you laugh? Before you skip, give me a couple minutes to explain how and why. Imagine an auditorium full of misogynists. You heard me right. The comedian on stage drops the punchline, and she drives her way out of it. The room roars with laughter. It's funny to them because they all believe women are horrible drivers. Now replace that audience with a cross-section of people from Western communities today. The comedian drops the punchline, and she drives her way out of it. The joke falls flat. It falls flat because these days in the political center, which is just another term for saying what most people believe at that time, it's absurd to think that women can't drive. And those who chuckled, those who think that it's funny, suddenly feel out of place, out of the pack. It naturally makes them wonder, reassess their position. Why isn't anyone else laughing? Why am I the only one who thinks it's funny? Nothing else can get a human being to rethink their invested beliefs the way a well-structured joke can. This comedy compass is a visual representation of the evolutionary purpose behind humor. Funny flips the script on fear, always has. And in the same way fear can be amplified by our online world to change political beliefs, funny can be amplified too. Where fear is used to great effect to push people away from one another, even toward extremism, funny can be used, if structured properly, to bring people back together, toward the political center. The comedy compass shows us visually the potential of comedy to move the ideological leanings of whole populations over time. That's why at the Newsload we call this structuring comedy to save the world. The internet is the auditorium. The Newsload is the comedian. For a Newsload outlet to be a viable business model, it needs to know its audience. So it needs to be local. And it needs to be funny to the greatest number of people. So it needs to avoid extremism. Newsload content is mandated to only point toward and be based off corroborated news stories by reputable news organizations and journalists. It's the number one rule our franchisees must follow. Our business sees real news as uncollected gold waiting to be minted, and local comedic talent as an abundant natural resource waiting to be mined. There's so much untapped potential. It just needs to be resourced and harnessed to be successful. Consider reaching out to me if you're interested in more information. Fear creates division. Funny creates unity. We don't need to think about either to know how it makes us feel. Funny can be just as powerful a motivator as fear. But where fear has been gamed out to maximize its impact on political behavior, funny is really just getting out of the game. Help us change that. And yes, help us save the world. Thanks for watching.
Wow. Pay close attention. Your load is coming. This is the Newsload.